No, it's not me pissing. Gotcha. I'm filling up my water. What's up, guys? It's Friday, October 25th, 2024, 6:26 a.m. It's an early show today. It's not my earliest. I need to have some stats, some all-time stats. I like shit like that. I'll have to put that in the description. Longest show, the earliest show, the latest show, whatever. I don't know. I like stuff like that. But I had a really bad day yesterday. It was just, day was fine, but then I got home and I had more time than I typically do because I didn't go to the gym purposefully. It's a rest day. And let's turn this off. And I didn't do anything. I recorded a show. I mean, I got some things done, man, but to my standard, it was the equivalent of me just laying in the middle of the road. I didn't do anything. And I don't like that feeling because I have all these big goals, dreams, aspirations, you know? And if I'm not acting in accordance to those goals and what they require of me to achieve them, then what am I doing? So I had this thought. It's not 100% my own, but it's from Alex Ramosi, who would have thought. But there's this perspective of we as people who are down here on ground zero, we look up at these entrepreneurs, successful people. Like, for example, you look at, we'll just say Kobe Bryant. That guy, you can probably hear my music. I got to turn this shit off while I record. Hold on. I'm going to switch to my computer. Hold on. What's up? Okay, I'm on my computer now. So the thought from Alex was, we as ground people, this wasn't his thought, this is me explaining my interpretation. So we're on ground zero, you, me, whoever's listening. We're down here, we're looking at, that's what I was saying. Yeah, you look at Kobe Bryant. Like he's in the NBA, and I know he's passed away. I know, but bear with me. So he's in the NBA, he's killing it. He's doing all these things, all these records, all these achievements, winning titles, winning MVP awards, everything. And he's, the way that he got there is not the way that we think. So we think maybe, and I'm just using Kobe as an example, but we think that he, ever since day one, was practicing 12 hours a day. And you know what? See, I want to restart the whole episode right now, but I'm not going to because this happens a lot. I'll go on a tangent and I'm like, whoa, that's bullshit. That doesn't make sense. And then I'll restart the whole show. So for the sake of being transparent, I'm going to not edit this whole thing out. So let me give you a better example. So there's the millionaires of the world, the influencers that are making money. They got these brand deals. They got all this stuff. Or maybe there's these success gurus or people like, I don't know, shit. People even like myself who are like, you got to do this to gain weight. You got to do this to lose fat, blah, blah, blah. This is how I start my day, the ultimate success hack, whatever. And it's coming from people, and not me in this instance, but it's coming from people who actually have some shit going on. They have a nice house, they got the Lambo, they got all this stuff. And what they did to get there isn't what they do now. So meaning, the guy that has the Lambo in the house or whatever, he's reached a point where he can now afford to wake up and spend the first 3 hours of his day doing meditation in the red light sauna and doing a cold plunge and going for a 20-minute walk and doing some visualization and having a home-cooked meal on his rock oven stove in the wood, whatever. They can afford to do that because they worked their ass off to get to a point where that's what they could do. And now because they're in that phase of life, their priorities have shifted from the hardcore grind to taking care of their bodies and their health and everything like that. And it seems like that's a recurring theme. Somebody goes balls to the wall forever, and then they get to the point where they are at the top of the mountain, so to speak, and they think, oh shit, I should probably take care of myself. And maybe that's what I'm doing. I don't know. I guess time will tell. But anyway, you see those people and what they achieved and what they do now, and you think, oh, he made it on the top of the mountain because he red light saunas every day. He takes an ice bath every day. He goes for a walk every day. He eats this grass-fed shit every day, this organic, non-GMO, air-free, water-free, chemical-free, everything's a chemical, caffeine-free, milk-free, steel-free, desk free, fake plant free, all this shit. Free. That's how he got there because he does all this. So I'm going to do it too. But actually, he did the monotonous, boring shit every day and then reached a point where he could afford, or she, fuck me, could afford to do X, Y, or Z. And so I hear a lot of stuff on the internet and I don't really think too much of it. I just graze over it, take it at face value. But things like this, if you think about it just a little bit deeper, I mean, a little exercise for you. Next time you hear news or thought or some kind of headline, instead of just grazing over it, actually, just set a timer for 3 minutes and just think about it. Just explore the ins and outs. Think about, okay, they wrote this. Why would they write this? What's the goal to... I mean, think about it from both sides. If they're good people, why are they writing this? If they're bad people, why are they writing this? And this, just explore. And then think about the validity of it. So, milk causes blah, blah, blah. Just think about it. Like, does it? Has it ever done that for you? Do you know anybody that's done it for? If so, do they have a... Just think about shit. Rather than seeing a thing that says milk causes cancer, beware or something. It's like, well... I don't think that that's likely because, and then fill in the blank. Just think about shit. Critical thinking. Anyway, so I'm sitting here. I have a horrible way of telling stories, huh? So I'm sitting here yesterday, and where am I going with this? Let me pause and collect my thoughts. Hold the fuck on. That's where I was going. Okay, so we think that these people are doing all this shit, and we think that that's how they got there. But that's not how they got there. They got there doing all the monotonous shit, the day-to-day grind, all the stuff. And that disconnect, the non-realization that so we see what they do now. We don't see what they did then, which is actually a huge goal of this show. I want to be able to showcase everything that I've ever done up until the point that I make it to wherever I'm going. So we kind of, well, I'll speak for myself here. I feel like shit thinking that I'm doing the wrong thing always because I look at these guys and this influencer and this CEO and this whatever, and they're doing X, Y, Z, but I'm doing A, B, C, and that makes me feel like I'm not doing the right things. But I am doing the right things. But the people who have made it are not talking about that. I mean, they'll talk about it, and it's a dramatic thing. I used to walk uphill 20 miles to school in the snow, and then earth shifted, had to walk 20 miles back up the hill for snow to get back home. Those are the stories that they tell, but in reality, it was a quarter mile. It was raining one day. That's how they tell the story. So we hear that and we're like, holy fuck, that's brutal. Wow, they're heroes. I can't do that. But I don't know. I'm just trying to make that connection now to myself where it's like, okay, the story that I will someday tell, it's not going to be I went up and down the hill 20 miles both ways in snow to get to school. It's going to be, I worked 10 hours, came home, sat in my office space here on my laptop, and I just typed. But that's not a sexy story, I mean, think about that. Yeah. I went to work. Then I got off work, went to the gym. Then I came home and sat in my office and was on my laptop. And then I did that till I went to bed. And I did that every day for 29 million years. It's not a sexy story. So you got to make it dramatic. So those are the stories we hear. And I don't know, man. There for a while in the intro of the show, I talked about how there's a giant disconnect between ground zero and the top floor. And this is kind of what I mean. So there's a tie in there from 100 episodes ago. But kind of an aha moment because I'm sitting here and okay, so what sparked me wanting to talk about this right now is this. So I have all these great ideas. I have all these things I want to make happen. I want to polish everything off so that when a client gets this or they have that or whatever in the program, they're like, whoa, that's insane. Thank you so much. But the way that you get there is by putting out, for example, book one. And then you give them book one, they read book one, they're like, cool. And then you learn what worked with book one, what you like, what you don't like from book one, and you put out book two. And when I'm saying book, it could mean anything. It could be software, it could be a guide, could be the way that you do things with the client, or service or product or whatever. Could be the colors that you use. And in the span of 20 years, people see that finished product of 20 years and they're like, oh yeah, this is where I was going with this, I need the podcast lighting. I need the nice microphone. I need the videographer that can follow me around and do this. I need the nice car so that people think I'm credible. I need this XYZ, blah, blah, blah. But no, actually what you need is to just start and to figure it out as you go. So me trying to figure all this out, knowing that I could do a lot better. For example, I'm watching what is it called? The welcome email onboarding process module in the group that I joined. It's talking about what the email needs to entail that you send to the client when they are joining the program. And when I look at this first glance, I think dog shit, looks like shit, not organized. They don't bold anything. There's no italics. There's no underlining. There's no color coding, nothing. There's no logos. That's ass. So I think, how the fuck is this working? But then I had the thought, and this is where I'm coming with everything, is, okay, all I have to do is just put this into play. Put this email, everything into play. And then as it becomes, I guess, more important down the road, what's important now is that I actually have something going on. Down the road, that's when I can fine tune everything, make it nice, make it colorful, make it pop, all that shit. Because nobody on day one has 20 fitness apps, 3,000 subscribers, a videographer, professional podcast, professional mic, professional lighting, the nicest camera, everything. On day one, unless you're stacked with money and you have a shit ton of experience beforehand, that's not you. And it won't ever be anybody on day one. And I think people think that, I'm speaking for myself, I guess, but I think that all the time. I'm like, yeah, dude, he's got the mic, he's got the this. No wonder why he has 50 million subs. No, he has 50 million subs because he did this shit for the last 15 years. So, yeah, so anyway, I'm writing this email and I look at it and I think, how is this? So my line of thought goes like this. This is so ugly, but this is what they're telling me to do. So therefore it works. Maybe it's me handicapping myself because I think it needs to be a certain way. And then I spend so much time trying to make it that certain way that I don't even get the thing on the floor to sell. And therefore it handicaps me from moving forward even further because I'm not learning from what worked, what didn't work. There's nothing to go off of. So maybe that's what it is. Like the clay pot story. I'm going to tell it again in case you haven't heard. One semester, a professor told one professor told half of his class to make as many clay pots as they possibly could. And then he told the other half of the class to spend the semester making one perfect pot. And fast forward, very end of the semester, not only did the half of the class who had to make all the clay pots make more pots, but the average quality of every single pot was far better than the other half of the class who had the entire semester to make one perfect pot. Meaning, put the shit out there, try something. Like, for example, I'm going to put this email out there and I'm going to put it out there. And then as time goes on, I can add more, I can make it nicer, I can do whatever. But the most important thing is I have a clay pot here. And if I don't have a clay pot, then I'm not even in the class. So, weird analogy. So yeah, that's just a little aha moment, another one of those that I had. We see the finished product, but we don't realize how it all went into production, right? We see the finished Lamborghini, but what's the amount of moving pieces on a car? Let's see. How many individual parts make up a car? It's something crazy. A typical car has 30,000 and has between 30,000 and 40,000 individual parts. And obviously that varies depending on... Oh, weird. Yeah, I guess that just depends on the car, the make, all that shit, obviously. But 30,000, think about that in terms of if you had to build that from scratch by yourself. You're not putting all 40,000 parts of the car together today, no matter how great your machine is. Well, I guess maybe they do that in real life, huh? Well, let's see. How long does it take to build a car? The time it takes to build a car can vary. Yeah, no shit. I hate when they say that, dude. No shit, it can vary, man. Mass market vehicle. On average, it takes automakers 18 to 38 hours to produce a mass market vehicle, which including welding engines. Okay, we'll just say that it takes 35 hours. So, yeah, we look at a finished car, and we just think that we have to have all those parts. We got to be able to put it together, and that's how you do it. But reality, it's getting the systems in place, getting the machines in place. That's a better analogy, to build the car in the first place. So maybe you got to focus on building the assembly line, and then you got to focus on building the crane that hoists the car over, and then you got to focus whatever. And maybe that's actually what it is. So rather than focusing on the finished product, the end product that is the car, maybe focus on how you can get the best lug nuts. Is that what they're called for your car, for your tires? Don't know shit about cars, dude. Maybe that's what you got to focus on this week. And then next week, you got to focus on getting the tires to have the best tread. And then by the end of however long it takes, you have the car. But you didn't get the car in one day. It took the time, the reps, the learning about each little piece, building the processes, building the systems to build the car, let alone figuring out what you even needed to use to build the car. So hopefully that makes sense. If not, then I will go fuck myself. So anyway, I'm going to leave the show at that. I got up early today at 5:15-ish. And I got to take control of this shit, man. Got big goals. I need to make them happen. So, yeah. Also, I would like to point out that today I didn't do any kind of morning routine. I didn't do anything like that. I just woke up. I did some mobility work. That's it. I didn't do affirmations. I didn't write anything that I'm thankful for. I didn't read out loud. I didn't drink water. I just came in here and sat down on my laptop, and I've already got about an hour's worth of shit done. And I feel much better about that than I do with all these other things. Now, I'm still going to keep on doing them, and I will be doing them, but it's just an observation. Me waking up and being like, okay, I got to do this and 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 this, and then I can go to my laptop and start doing the thing that actually is going to help me. That's just my perspective. I could be so wrong. I could be so ignorant. I could be very naive to a lot, but that's an observation. I'm going to make it right now. So it's part of the show, document everything. So much greater feeling knowing I woke up, came in here, now I'm working. I got some bucked up right here. If anybody's not familiar, it's just an energy drink. They're local here. It makes me feel good having local stuff. We got Transparent Labs. That's down in American Fork or South Fork, whatever, in Utah. We got Bucked Up. It's down there as well. We've got, what's it called? I can't remember the name of the company. They're from Vineyard Supplement Company. And we got Built Bar, protein bar. They're in Utah as well. And then we got Hydro Jug. They're down in Ogden, Utah. Make a nice jug. Their customer service, though, is fucking dog shit. Just want to say that. But, yeah, I like the product. And then, what else we got? I think that's all I can think of right now. Yeah, it's pretty cool to think that it's cool, man, because if you go back and listen to episode pre-100, I think I talk about how I'm quitting Amazon and Audible and everything like that because I want my money to go back into people or into companies who are local, who are trying to make it happen, who are doing their own thing, just to help them out. Because back then, my goal was to make a supplement brand and sell a pre-workout. And I thought, well, I'd want someone to buy my shit and give me the profit rather than Amazon so they can get it quicker. That's what I'd want. So I'm going to do the same for them. And I actually did go without Amazon for the first 6-7 months of this year. I don't know how long, half a year for sure total. And now here I am. I buy a shit ton of Built Bars. Honestly, I don't buy a lot of Bucked Up. I just have these because they're free, because they run on a promo. But then with Transparent Labs, I like that stuff. So I've been getting more of that. And then we have the other supplement brand. I think I got zinc picolinate from them. They're in Vineyard, Utah. I think there's a couple others. I'm forgetting them. But anyway, it's cool to think that I said all that stuff and I'm unconsciously doing that now. Like I'm not talking out my ass then just to sound cool or whatever. I'm actually doing that. So that's a cool little reminder for myself that, yeah. So anyway, that's the show. Love you guys. Peace out. I forgot that I had a coaching call today and I asked 5 questions. I don't know if they're going to go over all 5 questions, but if they do, then I'm going to record that so you guys can see me asking a question, their response, my response to their response,
whatever. I'm just trying to, again, guys, it's fucking documentation. I'm just trying to document everything that pertains to everything that I got going on. So see ya when that happens.
You're going to get better at overcoming objections. I love that, Bryson. Dan says feedback from
Hell yeah, dude.
Single major platform simultaneously. Should I be posting everywhere if I can? For now, the content isn't exactly made for that platform. Okay, so the short answer is yes, post everywhere. If it's a reel, you can put it everywhere pretty much. If it's a written, you can usually put it on Instagram and Facebook with a picture. Don't just post just a written, you guys. Please put a picture with it. And a lot of your writtens can go on threads as well. So post everywhere because you already made the content. Put it everywhere. Now, should you use a third-party app to do it? No, you should not. Don't use Hootsuite. Don't use Metricool. Don't use anything like that. You can use Instagram's posting. Like Instagram will allow you to delay a post and post it. Use that for sure because it's made by that platform. And that's the ticket, is you don't want to use a third-party app because Facebook's job is to keep me on Facebook. Instagram's job is to keep me on Instagram. So if I use a third-party app, they know I'm already not on their app, so they're not going to give as much. They're not going to let that have as much reach as if I would have posted it organically or posted it through one of their services. So you want to make sure that you're using the service of that app, of that platform, for it to get the most reach and see the most benefit from it. That's what the algorithm is designed for. So they're going to be like, oh, you used Metricool. Oh, you used Hootsuite. Well, guess what? Shal posted right through Instagram. So I'm going to show everybody Shal stuff first.
Facts.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like any third party software can ruin your algorithm's chances of going of doing well. So it's just like there's no point. Like I feel like most people can get the results just using. And again, I get it. Time might be an issue, but again, it's like it doesn't take me long. Like even if on my busiest days, like either I schedule it or I know I have the caption ready in the notes and I have or in my drafts I have saved it in my drafts or I have it in my notes so I'm just ready to go. I just know what to post. But yeah, I would use the scheduling tool for sure. And Kim, I put down in the chat for you the check-in training, so do watch that. I answered your question briefly, but make sure to watch that. Let's move on to the next question. You can export still images as videos and upload them in an IG reel. Is there any advantages to doing so? Curious of alternative methods of filming in gyms that are stern and no filming / tripods. So I guess that's two questions. So I'm gonna answer the first one first. Yes, you can post pictures as reels, but I feel like it's doesn't have the same effect. You might be trying to be like, I think, and I've seen like posts from people saying, oh, posting this photo as a reel to be a rebel to the algorithm. And like some people might get engagement, but feel like whatever message you're trying to give off in that picture, I feel like you can do a better job doing a talking reel and like show your emotions and actually like tell people what you have to tell. Use your voice. I feel like using your voice will forever be greater than posting a picture as a reel because again, most people, unless you have a really, really, really engaged audience, won't read your captions. Most people who do the static picture as a reel, they put something as read caption underneath, and they don't have an engaged enough audience. Maybe they have a viral reel, but they don't have an engaged enough community like audience to like just go in and read through everything that you wrote. So I would say like maybe just stick to using your voice just because that's more powerful. Don't just think and again, this might not be your approach, but you might be thinking, well, this can create less work for me. But at the end of the day, like, don't think of doing the less work. Think of like, well, how can I connect with my audience? How can I use my voice to like, become more of an authority and be more powerful? Because I'll be honest, if I look at a picture, and this is just my personal observation, when I look at like someone like Cole talking and giving value or like, giving that intensity or, just showing that energy, versus someone who posts a picture that says read caption, I would 100 times out of 100 I'll watch Cole's video because it does more than just giving the message. It shows you the energy, what's the word? I don't want to use the word like aura, but yeah, energy is the right word, and just like the emotion you can to see the person delivering it. So that's what I would say. As for the next part of the question, in terms of the gyms that are a little bit stern from using camera and tripod again, if possible, man, like again, this might sound like you might be like, well, I want advice in terms of that gym. Go to a different gym. As bad as it sounds, like if your gym is restricting you from that and your livelihood depends on it, then I would just make the change, given that you have a gym around you. Or if you have like equipment at home, maybe you can film tutorials at home, given with whatever you have available. But most times, like I feel like if it's a policy of the gym where you cannot record at all and they have it written in big letters and everywhere it's posted, chances are you're gonna get kicked out. So it's just like trying, instead of working around that, try to just like see if you can find a gym from that's like nearby and at a similar price. Because nowadays, like I go to Good Life here in Canada, like before they used to be a little bit weird about it, but then now see, like I've recorded in front of the manager, she doesn't say shit. Like, so it's like, again, most gyms will allow it. If there's a policy, like then again, respect it. But if chances are, if you ask, like most people will allow you. Like I even told our manager at the gym, I'm like, hey, like, I do this. I'm a fitness coach as well. I just like, my goal is just to educate people through social media, and she was cool with it. Where most people would be like, well, no, like you're our competitor. Most people would say that, but like my gym manager was super cool about it. So this is what I would do. Either I would ask, or if it's like a no at all, I would look at using a different gym. Because again, if you're trying to just work around the situation, you're going to be trying to be sneaky, and then you're going to get kicked out of the pod, and then you're not going to have a good time. So, and then you won't have a gym. So I would just say, like, by finding a different gym, or if you have like I know in Canada we have like Fit for Less. I don't know where you are, Bryson, but in Canada we have Fit for Less. It's like $10 a month. You can just go in, and it's like at any time you just get a fob system. Like those gyms still allow you to shoot. So like you can just find a really, really cheap gym membership where it's allowed. So again, those are some alternatives, but yeah, I would just join a gypsum gym, to be honest. Shell, anything you would want to do that?
Nope. I think you covered it. All right. Next question. If I'm sending out 10 to 15 DMs a day, Monday to Friday, what's a realistic percentage to shoot for?
Okay, so I think those are my questions. I don't think there was any
and if
more.
I'm not
so
hitting that metric, is it a function of my DMs or my content?
That's it. That's all I wanted to record. So peace.
Check out. They can choose klarna
my question.
for payment plans. Is there any benefit to us as coaches? You get paid in full all day long with this, because a client could split their bill into $750 into 12 months, but then there's the side of lowering their skin in the game. And commitment is the price doesn't sting a little bit, because the price doesn't sting a little bit. Curious about that. That's a great question. Actually, I have the option for Klarna, but none of my clients have actually used it. But I will say, like, yeah, I do see a point of like, if they break it down, that's still a cost they have to pay. That's still something they'll have to pay, not to you, but to the lender. However, they will still have that in the back of their head. They're like, I have to still pay, so like there's still something on the line. Just because it's like a big product or big service broken down into a lot of like installment doesn't mean that they won't think about it. Even when I have made, again, it's not coaching related, but when I have made big purchases on a 1 year or 2 year thing, I still think of those things, even though the amount is not big. I'm like, I still have to pay it. But I will say this though, as a coach, sure, like the ones who pay in full pay the most attention, but it's your job as a coach to keep your clients engaged and focus at all times. Obviously, their life is gonna, there's different turns and things gonna happen, and something unexpected might happen. But when they come into your program, again, I want to set the expect, and this is not a price related thing. Maybe you were just curious about it, but like, I want to distract them from the price, and I want to like always align them what they want. Like don't align them like, hey, you paid me like $2,000, so like do the work. Align them with why they began in the first place, why they came to you, like why is it really bothering, and what's going to happen if they don't take action. Like make sure like you have that in their heads, make sure you're reminding them, but also like when they're in your program, get them amazing results. Like show up for them, like be on top of them with your messaging, with your check-ins. Just make sure that you're really taking care of them, so they don't feel like, fuck, like I have to run away from this coach or I'm gonna lower my efforts. Like when when you're focusing on getting them amazing results, making sure that they're your priority and that like your you're providing solutions to them, and also like letting them know that I'm like, hey, I'm here to problem solve, and I'm not here to overwhelm you, or I'm not here to like yell at you. I'm here to actually get you amazing results as a team. I feel like they're going to be more motivated to just show up and not worry about like, hey, like, fuck, I paid a lot of money, but in a lot of installments, so I'm not going to do the work, or my commitment's going to waver. It can happen to the best of us, but as a coach, I must do all the things like, trying to set the right expectations, aligning them with their why, and just getting them amazing results from the get-go, so they don't feel like they have to quit. I feel like a lot of people think that, like, yeah, including myself in the past, I've been like, yeah, like when they are going to stretch out their payments, they're going to be like, well, I'm not losing much money every single month because it's like stretched out, but I'm still losing money. But yeah, I would just focus on getting them amazing results. There were clients of mine who weren't fully bought in, let's just say initially, up until the end of the first month, and they were down a few pounds, and they were fully bought in, and their work ethic went up, and the more they saw results, the better it got. So again, I would focus on getting them amazing results rather than focusing on like the installments of payments. But yeah, that's what I would say.
Excellent. Thank you. Good advice. I use Trainerized Pay, so that's why Shay is definitely the better person to answer that question than me. All right. Last but not least, final question of today. Are there better times to post on Instagram?
Oh, that's it.